Welcome to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. It supports the podcast and it doesn't cost you anything. Well, folks, let's start by taking a look at the Bitcoin price, currently sitting at $71,423. Cooling down a little bit here on the daily chart, and that's normal. That's okay. Bitcoin did a big move, huge candle breaking the old all-time high and crossing $72,000. So we want to see some consolidation and building of support levels and strength, and then we keep moving up higher. Now, there is the possibility of us hitting some sort of local top. I don't know what the local top will be, but just be prepared for it. It could be at 80, could be at 90, could be at 100K, but you want to be prepared for something like that where it pulls back. Now, if you bought the lows like I did, buying Bitcoin at $2,000, $3,000, even buying the December 2022 bottom at 16, 17K and so forth, you're not worried about this. Now, if you're trying to enter the market now, you may want to look for some sort of significant pullback before you take an entry. And this way you can make some decent returns because Bitcoin, of course, is in phase 2 of the bull market. It had a huge run up since last year. We are in the next leg up and we could potentially see a blow off top this year. And we'll talk a bit more about that later. But a great indicator to look at is the DXY, the dollar currency index, which continues to break downwards. And as it keeps going down, we can expect Bitcoin and other risk assets to continue to move up. That is how the market cycles work. I don't make the rules. Those are just the facts. So from a macro standpoint, we are on track to make higher highs, folks, and possibly have that blow off top this year. Here's what Bob Lucas, who's a great analyst, he shared a chart showing 3 possible scenarios for Bitcoin. He said, Bitcoin is showing us a blow-off type 4-year cycle, not a diminishing returns type. Also showing a left translated cycle top before December is real if this doesn't cool off, unless we get a 6-month consolidation with the 70 to 100K yellow zone. So this is color coded for those of you listening on the audio to build into a super cycle. Sit tight. So let me break that down a bit. We could see a blow off top this year, as I stated my thesis for this in one of my newsletters, and I'll probably do a video about it. But because of the macro factors that rate cuts may be coming later this year after the election, and the markets are trying to front run that because historically, if you look at the data, there's been huge crashes at the rate cuts because many times when they have to cut rates, there's something breaking or has broken. So this is where markets are maybe front running and there's a lot of liquidity still left back from the pandemic era. And their markets are just ripping right now. And of course, Bitcoin is correlated with global liquidity in the stock market. So we could see that blow off top this year. Now, that's not guaranteed. Here, Bob is also saying the other scenario, we top out at some of these price points at 70 or somewhere between the 70 to 100K range. We chop and consolidate and then rip as we head into 2025. That's possible as well. I prefer a blow off top this year so that I can make money sooner than later, right? You get your cash out sooner as we hit the all-time high blow off tops. So I'll be cashing out a Bitcoin starting at 90K, then 100 and so on and so forth. And then we will see an epic alt season for those of you who are major altcoin holders. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I think Bob's analysis is great here, but as you can see, Bob is sharing multiple scenarios. As an educated, informed investor, you want to look at all possible scenarios. You want to look at bearish scenarios as well. We don't want to have confirmation bias and tunnel vision that it's only going to keep going up and this and that. No, look at all scenarios. Obviously, I want it to go up. I'm here to make money. And one of the big catalysts that is driving Bitcoin's price is the ETF buying. So Eric Balchunas of Bloomberg shared some updated numbers today saying the second biggest volume day for the 10 Bitcoin ETFs and the best in the past 5 days with 8.5 billion folks in trading volume. That's incredible. And he says only 5 stocks traded more. He says IBIT, which is BlackRock's ETF, went crazy again, double gold volume, but the middle of the pack really seeing pickup. HODL and BTCO did 150 million and 250 million huge for them. So not only BlackRock, like he's saying, but the other Bitcoin ETFs are going nuts as well. Yesterday, we talked about Bitwise's AUM crossing $2 billion. That's incredible, folks. And it's heating up, right? We talked about VanEck also cutting their fees till March of 2025. So exciting to watch this play out. And as I've been saying, that we are still in the early innings. This thing is going to continue to grow because the RIAs and wealth managers are now getting educated. These Bitcoin ETF issuers are going out to them and educating them, building awareness and so forth. And obviously, there's going to be a lot of marketing around these things. So exciting times, folks. Now, let's take a look at what are the top trending tokens on social media. This data is brought to you by Sentiment, which has a lot of great metrics and features that you can use to inform yourself and educate yourself as an investor. So AVAX, also known as Avalanche, right? Avalanche is the blockchain, AVAX is a token, is leading. It's seeing some nice price action. It has huge positive sentiment. Injective also seeing some positive sentiment here. There's going to be a token release soon. The price has been moving as well. So Solana comes in at 3. Banano, I guess this is a meme coin. I don't know. It comes in at 4. It has a high negative sentiment at 47.17%. Here you got Reef. I don't know what the hell Reef is, but it comes in at number 5. Rune or Thorchain, and the native token is Rune. That has some slightly higher negative sentiment as well. Ethereum coming in here at 7. You got Grid coming in at number 8, and it has high negative sentiment at 44.71%. XRP coming in at number 9 with actually good positive sentiment versus how it was looking the other days. And Clover Finance coming in at number 10. So those are your top 10 trending tokens on the social media webs, guys. Heads up, I'm going to have some representatives from Sentiment come on the podcast for us to do episodes to cover different data, metrics, and so forth. So that once again, you guys can be more educated about what's happening in the market. They'll be able to break down this data and the charts and so forth better than I can. And it can give you some great insights as to which tokens you may want to be looking at, which ones you may want to sell, which ones you might want to buy, what you want to hold short term, long term, and all that jazz. We'll go into categories like AI tokens and so forth. So make sure you subscribe. All of this great data is coming soon. Now, we got some big news from Coinbase today. They're actually following MicroStrategy's model. So Coinbase announces offering of $1 billion in convertible notes. The stock jumped 18% in the past week after Bitcoin notched new all-time highs and the US Bitcoin ETFs continue to beat records. So the notes would mature in 2030, according to the company, and would be offered to institutional investors. Here's a quote. Coinbase also expects to grant the initial purchasers of the notes a 30-day option to purchase up to an additional $150 million principal amount of notes solely to cover over allotments, the company said. The company will elect to convert the notes into cash, shares of Class A stock, or a combination. The crypto exchange will use the proceeds from the offering for general corporate purposes and will also use the funds to pay or repurchase 0.5% convertible senior notes due 2026, 3.375% senior notes due in 2028, and 3.625% senior notes due in 2031. Coinbase may also use a portion of the net proceeds to make investments in and acquisitions of other companies, products, or technologies that Coinbase may identify from time to time. So that makes sense. You know, they're going to raise capital here to go invest and acquire other companies and try to grow their footprint and their valuation. Now, you know what I'm going to say next, right? They better use some of that money to pay for some goddamn servers because we don't want Coinbase going down during the bull market. It's ridiculous at this point, right? We've all experienced it recently, showing you log in and you see a zero balance. That's unacceptable, Coinbase. Come on, you're a public company. You're making billions. You're going to do this offering here of $1 billion, raising $1 billion. So come on, stop playing around. Use some of that money for the servers. Now, a great exchange that I personally use and have been using since 2018 is Uphold. You can buy Bitcoin and all the top altcoins. They have 260 plus cryptocurrencies. You can also trade precious metals on here: gold, silver, palladium, platinum. So this is a platform I trust. They are fully reserved. They have transparency reports. They don't commingle or lend out your funds, and they're easy to use. So Check out Uphold. Link will be in the description. Now, folks, we've been covering the John Deaton versus Elizabeth Warren campaign in Massachusetts. Of course, John Deaton going to take Elizabeth Warren's seat. Well, I gave you guys a heads up in previous episodes of the podcast that we have a new potential challenger by the name of Ian Kane running against Elizabeth Warren. However, Eleanor Terrett of Fox Business did some research here, and this guy seems to be very buddy-buddy with Elizabeth Warren. So my question is he a plant? It wouldn't surprise me. We are dealing with corrupt Elizabeth Warren. So here's what she said. I've been looking further into Ian Kane, the new pro-blockchain GOPer who could be preparing to launch a campaign for Senator Warren's Senate seat. If Kane were to run, he would do so as a moderate Republican, which would put him in direct competition with John Deaton. According to the Boston Globe, Kane registered as a Republican for the first time on February 29th after spending 4 years as an unregistered voter and a registered Democrat for around 3 years prior to that. Kane has many Democratic connections. His father, John Kane, is chairman of Quincy MA Ward 3 Democrat Party, according to Massachusetts Democrats' website. Kane's recent election contributions have all gone to Democrats, including Massachusetts governor, and she lists all the names and so forth. And then she highlighted some photos of him and Joe Biden and him and Elizabeth Warren. I got a funny feeling. I got a gut feeling this guy is a plant by Elizabeth Warren to try to take away votes from John Deaton because she's scared of John Deaton. We've seen that. The tweets, the emails begging for money, the calling out to other Democrats to come help her. She's scared. And, we've talked about the different factors why she's scared, but I think this guy's a plant. I could be entirely wrong, but I have a gut feeling that he is, given his background. He pops out of nowhere. He's a pro crypto guy as well. And he all of a sudden jumps on the Republican side after seemingly being a Democrat for a long time. Guys, I think this guy's a plant. It's kind of like we talked about Aaron Kaplan and Prometheum as a plant by Gary Gensler. I think this guy's a plant by Elizabeth Warren. All right, let's move ahead. Grayscale to launch a new smaller fund under ticker BTC. So this is interesting. The Grayscale Bitcoin Mini Trust Fund would trade under the ticker BTC. A person familiar with the matter told Blockworks that Grayscale had the ticker reserved for a while to build out a suite of products. The SEC will need to approve the fund before it can officially launch. While an exact fee isn't clear, the fee for Bitcoin will be lower than GBT's 1.5% fee and would be competitive with the other Bitcoin ETF fees, the person said. Well, they're going to have to really have a low fee because we saw Van Eck cut fees. I know Bitwise, they have the lowest fees out of everybody. So we'll see what Grayscale is able to do here. But we know GBT's 1.5% fee is kind of crazy. So GBTC will seed BTC, and a certain percentage of the Bitcoins will be allocated to the new fund. Here's a quote. At Grayscale, we aim to continually provide our investors with compelling future-forward opportunities to access Bitcoin and the crypto ecosystem. Additional information can be found in Grayscale's public filings. A Grayscale spokesperson told Blockworks via email. So let's see how this goes. The competition's heating up here, folks. Now, folks, we got some news here coming out of Nigeria, which is wild. Binance execs detained in Nigeria capital despite country exit. So a senior Binance exec, Tigran Gambaran and Nadeem Anjarwala, have been detained at a government property since February 26th. Now, folks, remember we covered it. It was probably last week or the week before. The Nigerian government is looking for $10 billion from Binance. If you recall, I said, their request reads like a Nigerian prince email scam, but it looks like they're serious here. They're like, we're going to hold these Binance executives hostage until we get that $10 billion. It's like Dr. Evil, right? They're making the request, but man, they're not playing around here. But I hope these guys are okay. And we'll see. I think it absolutely has to do with that $10 million fine. They want that money. So we'll have to wait to see the developments around this. Now, CoinShares closes buy of US Bitcoin ETF issuers fund division. Europe-focused investment firm is set to expand its U.S. asset management business after taking over ETFs with $530 million in combined assets. So we continue to see expansion, mergers and acquisitions, and much more. The market's heating up, folks, both on the equity side as well as the coin side. So CoinShares completed its takeover of Valkyrie's fund business Tuesday as part of its bid to expand its asset management footprint in the U.S. CoinShares said it had secured an option to buy Valkyrie's fund division in November. The option was active until March 31st, 2024. With the purchase, CoinShares is set to gain roughly $530 million of assets under management across 4 funds. This brings one of the 10 US spot Bitcoin ETFs, the Valkyrie Bitcoin Fund BRRR, as well as the firm's Bitcoin Miners ETF WGMI. We are going to make it, of course. It's Bitcoin and Ether ETF strategy, BTF, and Valkyrie Bitcoin Futures Leverage Strategy ETF, BTFX. So a big acquisition here, folks. And once again, things are heating up. People are bullish. They know we still got ways to go. There's going to be huge demand for crypto assets, obviously. And acquiring one of the ETF issuers here in the United States is a big strategic move for CoinShares. Now, we got news here that Eclipse secures $50 million ahead of mainnet launch. The Series A was co-led by Placeholder and Hack VC. So modular blockchain Eclipse, once again, securing $50 million. It brings its total funding at $65 million. Blockchain modularity refers to the different design layers of a blockchain stack. These include execution, settlement, consensus, and data availability. For blockchains like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, this activity is carried out by the same set of nodes. Modular blockchains, on the other hand, divide different functionalities into separate specialized layers. Neil Samani, the founder of Eclipse, told Blockworks that he believes that there are no layer 2s on Ethereum today that are built for scale. Ooh, that's a big statement there, that are built for scales. They're not built for scale. Here's a quote. There are many theoretical solutions and plenty of infrastructure being funded, which will mitigate the issues of liquidity fragmentation in the coming years. But our view is that there is tons of low-hanging fruit at the execution layer, which we will happily incorporate to provide a superior user experience on Ethereum. Samadi said Eclipse is intended to be the most performant layer 2. So obviously they have a competing layer 2, so they're going to make certain bold statements, and they do have a token, of course. I think it's the ECP token here, but it doesn't look like CoinMarketCap has any data. It may not have been released yet, or is in the process of being released. We'll have to wait and see, but it could be something to look into, folks. I'm going to look into this project because we see these layer 2s on Ethereum been pumping like crazy and taking off. So not financial advice, do your research. Like I said, I need to research this. I don't invest blindly, but we'll see, if this is legit or not. So we got to see what the tokenomics are and if it makes sense. But more layer 2s coming to Ethereum. And you guys know Ethereum's Deaton upgrade is coming tomorrow. So that's actually bullish for Ethereum. We'll see how that goes. All right, guys, that's the news. Be sure to check out our other sponsor, which is VeChain, one of the top layer 1 enterprise grade blockchains out there, working with BMW, PwC, Walmart China, Boston Consulting Group. They're building amazing Web3 apps. Real world use cases being solved here with this blockchain. They're fully scalable. They use low energy, and they have great speed and scalability as well. So if you'd like to learn more about VeChain, visit vchain.org. Link will be in the description. Folks, great way to support the podcast. Sign up for my free email newsletter. Link will be in the description. Also follow me on all social media platforms. Links also in the description. Thank you guys for watching and listening, and I'll talk to you all later.